when you're trying your best to look after your own land and keep it as wildlife friendly as you can, and then the farmer next door is just opening his up to industry like that. That's hard to take now.
The problem is it's on the side of a very steep mountain on deep blanket bog. And our peatlands, we should be protecting them. And there's new peatland strategy launched by DERA, and lots of great work happening. Or the Wildlife Trust and restoring peatlands and encouraging farmers to restore peatlands. But how would you have the heart to restore peatlands when you see that at the same time they are digging thousands of tons of peat out to pour concrete?
No. Welcome to the Save Our Sperrins campaign, Voices from the Frontline. I'm Morella Fife, your host and a member of the Save Our Sperrins team. At the heart of this struggle are the voices of local people, farmers, families and young campaigners whose homes, work and families are rooted in this place. Their voices are joined by supporters from across the world, standing in solidarity, from professors to artists, from those offering vast expertise to those whose presence alone is an act of support. All have stood with us. In this series, we share stories of resistance, resilience, and hopes from those determined to protect these mountains, their land, their rivers, the very air they breathe, and their community. Let's get started. Today we're in the heart of the Sperrin Mountains with Annie and Vincent Mullan of Butterlope Farm near Plumbridge. Annie's background is in environmental education and Vincent is an upland sheep farmer. Together they've created a community farm that's as much about people as it is about the land itself. Butterlope Farm is a social farm, a place where care, learning and community are woven into the daily life of farming. It's an example of how land can sustain livelihoods while also offering belonging and purpose. Their way of working stands in sharp contrast to the kind of colonial extractivism being pushed across the Sperrins, large-scale industrial projects that promise progress but leave behind a very different legacy: damaged bogs, lost habitats and fractured communities. In today's conversation, we talk about what genuine sustainability looks like when it's rooted in place, how social farming connects people back to the land, and what real progress might mean for the uplands and the generations to come. So let's begin with the land itself. Annie, for anyone who's ever been to or who hasn't been to Butterlope, can you paint a bit of a picture for us how long you've been here? What's life like here through the changes, seasons of Sperrins? And as you do that, could you tell us a bit about your social farming and what that really means in practice and how it becomes part of your story here and this way of caring for both the people and the land?
Yes, well, we moved here nearly 20 years ago. It'll be 20 years next summer. Straight after we got married, and the farm was in Benny's family, but it was lying empty, unused. I'd say, what do you say, about 15 years or so. It was just rented out. The land was rented, the house was empty. So we were delighted to have the opportunity to farm here, and so we moved here just after getting married, and we were both working full time. But Benny started sheep farming, buying sheep and stocking the land even before we got married, even just the year before.
1 year before, because we knew we were coming here, so we were getting a head start on it.
And we're both from sheep farming family,
right?
In Park. Park.
Okay.
Yeah, so
right.
We definitely have, from the heart of the Sperrins, and this is really only 10 miles from Park. It's over the hill.
Okay.
In the Glenelly Valley, and up in the uplands, and like when Benny first brought me here, and I've been here before with a sister, but that's another story. And, it's just such a beautiful place that, you know, we were so delighted. I was living in Belfast and Billy was living in Dublin.
It's a good place to come to.
So we were just like, this like, we fell in love with it straight away, I think. Well, Vinny, you was more.
Yeah, I used to stay up here when I was younger.
Helping out?
Yeah, we used to stay up here for a few weekends in the summer. Just working at turf and working at sheep.
Yeah. And where did you live like before that?
I live in Park as well.
Oh, in Park. Oh, right. Okay. Right. Okay. And what size is the farm here?
It's about 200 acres.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it's mostly hill ground, PD ground.
Yeah. And it's sheep, just sheep you do?
Mostly sheep. We've got a few calves, but it's better suited for sheep. It doesn't suit heavy cattle or
the ground.
Like that. It's not. And it can be cold up here in the winter time, so there's not it just suits sheep better.
And has the farm been long in your family, like going back generations, or?
Well, it was a far out relation. It was my grandfather's cousin that owned it.
Right. Okay.
It was far out, but
yeah. It's been around in your family memory anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then a little bit about the social farm. Could you explain what it is for people?
Yes. Well, we, as I say, we were both working full time, and then Vinny, he was building and he started working. He stopped working and was working full time on the farm, especially when the building trade was kind of going down.
Yeah, there was a few years there the building trade was pretty slow. I think we were looking for something different to try. We were just looking for an opportunity at something, and then I think the social farming came along then.
And that way, then we always knew when we wanted to do something on the farm. Okay. I worked as in environmental education for the Wildlife Trust and then for the council, and it just, you know, it's just such a beautiful place. You're right up into the peatlands and real wild landscape. You know, when you take a walk over that hill, you can even see driving here. You know, there's grass in the middle of the road. It's close to the promise, close to the villages, but you get the feeling when you come up here that you are in the middle of nowhere, and you can be out there and no one near you, and there's brilliant wildlife here, brilliant bird life. So we always knew that there was potential on the farm for some sort of therapy or environmental education. And I remember I used to work across the water, and there was a lot of talk about therapy farms and green gyms and that type of thing. I think at that time it was for like burnt out bankers. But we didn't want them. But so there was a pilot by Queen's University and the University of Dublin. They came together and they had money to pilot social farming here. Right. In the UK, it's called care farming, and it was up and running there. So that's about 10 years ago. Just over 10 years ago that happened. And as soon as we kind of learned, we seen an article about it. That's us. And you know what? We didn't even get on the pilot because there was another farm close here. You know, they were piloting with some, but we were still involved. We had all the training, the real support. It was just they could only take so many farms. Sure. And I think that spurred us on even more. No, this is what we're going to do. And so we had to take a leap, but we're very lucky. We Rapid charity, you know, and rural support charities. There's lots of support out there. And we actually got European social funding and partnered with the farm, Gordon Lee and Claudia. And that way we knew we had 3 years funded we actually began with bringing people in and actually delivering qualifications with them. We would have delivered land qualifications on land-based activity, sheep care and horticulture, things like that. So give us the confidence then, didn't it, when we knew we had the 3 years funding, and we set up a community interest company to allow that. And so that I give up my job in the council. So, because that's a big step.
It is. Yeah, you're moving away from steady income, relying on the income from the farm plus from the social farm side of things. So, I've often stepped from. I've made that step myself in the past. Oh.
And you know, it never goes wrong.
No, it doesn't. You never look back. You never look back.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think I probably explained what social farming
Yes,
is.
no.
We just go off on a tangent. But so social farming is providing like day opportunities or social services for people who need it. And so it can be for a wide range of people. We would have adults referred from learning disability team and also from the mental health team. So people who are living with long-term mental health issues, but they're managed. But also, you know, there's other groups that avail of it, refugees, maybe young people in care and different things. So the idea is that instead of going to a day centre, the after schools is after they leave school. It could be, we have like 16 up to people in their 70s here, and they would come here every week. So it's like the people come on a Monday. You know, there's a Monday team, a Tuesday team, and a Wednesday team. We just do it 3 days a week. And they come here and they get involved with farming.
Yeah.
They learn how to farm, how to grow vegetables, but they work. They say it as their day work, meaningful work, and work that they like to do. And they choose the money that it's now left. European Social Fund, that's all gone. All the European money with Brexit. But it's actually mainstream now through their budget, so they choose, and you know, if they don't want to be here, they choose not to. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so what's that like? So on one side you're farming and you're trying to make a living out of farming, and yet you at the same time have to accommodate or work with folk that may be challenging. So how does that feel? How does Vinny? And I'm sure there's sometimes you need to breathe in and breathe out, or
well, I suppose with the size of our farm here at the minute, we know that there just wouldn't be enough money in it to keep us. We couldn't live off the farm itself, so we have to do something else. So the social farming's getting that end of it. But I suppose there is a big responsibility. You're caring for. You're looking after people that you know, they land in their street. You don't know them beforehand. You're nervous in case something happens. You want to be protective of them too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want to be confident in the area, and you just want them to be happy around the yard and know the place well. And
it's a big change in their lives.
It is,
You may never have experienced perhaps any type of outdoor work or gardening or farming or.
Well, you can see their confidence improving when they come here to start. Like for us, we're nervous when they come, but they're nervous when they come, and you can see them opening up more as the weeks and months go by. There's people here years now.
Some have been here 8 or 9 years.
So they're just. They're like children to us now. They just
uncles.
It's part of the family.
And the changes you've seen in them, have you seen changes in yourself?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be as nervous now with them. I would be more confident with them. You can read the room better with them now when you're used to working. You know what they like and what they don't like, and you can adjust the situation to suit
their needs.
Yeah.
And have you noticed any changes in yourself?
Well, and Vinny, we got married. If I had said to them, where you'd be teaching and doing a BBC documentary in this, you would have run a mile. I don't think you would have married me, because you were quite shy but now Vinny is the best teacher, and I find, whereas I was doing the environmental education things, I think he's much better now at doing the talking about the animals and I think he's brilliant. He's a natural at that. So I say that change.
Did you see that in yourself?
I told her to say that. I do see that myself. I do notice myself. I can rant and rave a bit more now. I'm confident on it.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing what we can step into when we're pushed to it. I never saw myself doing this.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been.
Well, I think farming every day is a learning day, and farming for a farmer.
Yeah, yeah.
So to be teaching it to somebody else, I think it's just you good confidence too.
Yeah, yeah.
And you get
Do you-
a
do you enjoy it?
lot of good ideas from the people that come here too.
Yeah.
They do see it from a different angle than you see it, and there's good ideas that you can take forward and
Yeah.
work with yourself to better the farm too. To maybe make it handier.
You must be enjoying it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
It doesn't seem
We
like
do love it.
it doesn't seem like work at all, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Even the few weeks, we only take a few weeks off.
Yeah.
In the summer and a few weeks of Christmas, and you miss them, don't you? And you're kind of
Looking down the street to see how they're coming.
yeah. I mean, they're here 3 days, and that's enough because you were saying about how do you fit it in with the farming, but that gives you the opportunity, Vanny, to do other things that you couldn't do when they were there. Because everything does have to slow down. You know, it's not, when they get there, it's not really about farming targets anymore.
Sure.
It's their targets.
Yeah.
And there's certain jobs you couldn't do. It's too mechanized with the tractors and things. We don't use that. But because it's only part-time, you know.
You can manage
You
that.
can manage it.
Yeah, yeah. So there's values kind of behind this work, and out of out in the community, there's a lot of talk about the benefits of social farming, the training, the opportunities, and the sustainability, the possibility of sustainability for rural life. But imagine at its heart, you wouldn't do this, or you couldn't do this unless you could see the values in it. It's about values, isn't it?
Yes. And I don't think it's for every farmer, it's, it really is, you have to look at your skills and see if they match. And it's lots of farms. I'm not saying there's lots of farms out there. And there's a lot of farmers and a farmer's partner that maybe come from health or education or things. And so, bringing the skills together. But yeah, you've got to want to improve people's lives. Yeah. Because, it doesn't pay a fortune, and it is time.
If you run it for the money, I'm definitely the wrong way of thinking. It's not definitely
but it does help us sustain the farm, and that's brilliant.
Yeah.
It also really helped me stay at home when my kids were small, so it was brilliant for that. I was there for the school runs and all of that. But yes, I mean, you see the benefit they're getting from it, and that's so satisfying for us, isn't it? So and it's that inclusion of the people who come here into the community. They come to the mart. We had them at Oma Mart.
Oh, there. Brilliant!
Yeah. And Plum Mart, few instances of someone buying a calf we didn't notice. So, the auctioneer, Betsy, was there at the front, and we couldn't see. He was actually bidding on it. But anyway, we got that sorted out. We were a bit wearing it.
Oh, that's hilarious. Brilliant.
But yeah, so, and we do trips. We have our Christmas do, because there's 6, we have 6 a day come.
Right.
And so it's always the same 6. And so then it's nice then to get them all together. And maybe we went to the Donkey Sanctuary, and we'll go to Gorchin, like Bistro 16 for our dinner, Christmas dinner and things like that all together. So yeah, you can see the benefits that they're getting.
Yeah.
A lot of social anxiety too for mental health, and when you can see people like that who maybe started with us and wouldn't go to any of the social ones, and now goes to them all.
Yeah.
Or as well with the environment, with the European farming scheme, we had people on who we were trying to progress into work, so younger, and we had a local girl, and she with autism, and she didn't think she'd ever really get a job, and it's the social anxiety, and coming here and eating, just having lunch together is a big step for a lot of people, and being in that kind of work situation. So it's not always about them being here for a long time. Sometimes people who are here for a short time can get
Just
as
as much
much.
value.
And if we can progress them on, we were able to progress them onto a job.
Yeah.
And they've had more jobs since that. And they did come back and they said to us, I don't think I was ever going to work. So, and now they've got a career,
Yeah.
So, seeing that is amazing.
There's a real sense of satisfaction for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Vinny, farming the upland takes a kind of patience, resilience, and being ability to bounce back, that very few people see. So over the years, what has the farm or the landscape taught you about your endurance, your limits, or even your humility, from where you started 10 or 15 years ago to where you are now?
Well, I suppose, when you're farming on that high ground that goes here, that you're not maybe going to be able to keep the best animals.
Mm-hmm.
So you see maybe lowland farmers there, and you go to the market and they're obviously going to get a better price
for their animals.
Their land's more productive. They can get more animals per acre on.
Yeah.
I think you just have to sit back and look at your land, and you just know, right, this is the right amount. We can't push it on any farther than this.
Yeah.
To make it work. And I think we've got the right. We know where we're at with the farm now. We're trying to do a lot of maybe bring the farm onto schemes, like wildlife schemes and things like that, to make it maybe more productive that way. Maybe
so would you be limiting your grazing, or
limiting their grazing? There's parts of our farm that we don't graze now in the winter time. Now,
right.
Come up to the end of October here, we'll be taking animals off part of our farm, and it'll not be grazed for 4 months.
Right.
And gives the land a bit of a break too.
Yeah.
And it just gives everything a rest. And it keeps. We have to keep our numbers down, but maybe sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
Because if you're overstocked, you're feeding more. You're creating more work for yourself than out feeding. So I think sometimes
you're creating a monster for yourself.
If you cut down the numbers, I think it's that's a better way to run your farm. Maybe sometimes.
Yeah. So you come to an equilibrium, maybe, or balance.
Maybe down in lowland farms there, they get away with that. Their land can stand more. Not maybe the ground wouldn't be as wet, or you can put heavier animals on it, but certainly know where we're at with this place.
Yeah. Funny, as I was coming up the road here, I was listening to a program, and they were talking about rindoozles, and there's only 2 breeding pairs left in the country, I think, in Donegal, and they were just talking about the impact of overgrazed uplands and all that kind of thing, I just thought it was an interesting program, and there's a big push on now down the south to try and expand the upland territory for rindoozles. Anyways, that's just by the by.
Yes.
So let's move on a little bit. Looking at the idea of progress, we often hear that the upland's spoken as a kind of sacrificial zone for progress. New infrastructure, wind farms, mining, all presented as signs of development and progress. From where you stand as farmers and caretakers of land, what does real progress look like to you? Who's it really for? Who benefits? And what happens to the slow, more human ways of life that have always sustained communities like yours? Big question.
Well, at the minute there is a proposed wind farm on the mountain behind us on Muller.
Yeah.
And I think that's for us now as a social farm, and just people in the area, it's a tough one to swallow now. I don't think it's going to help us now. It's definitely not good when you're trying your best to look after your own land and keep it as wildlife friendly as you can, and then the farmer next door is just opening his up to industry like that. That's hard to take now.
The problem is it's on the side of a very steep mountain on deep blanket bog.
Mm-hmm.
And our peatlands, we should be protecting them. And there's new peatland strategy launched by DERA, and lots of great work happening. Or the Wildlife Trust and restoring peatlands and encouraging farmers to restore peatlands. But how would you have the heart to restore peatlands when you see that at the same time they are digging thousands of tons of peat out to pour concrete into a peatland system? So, you start with the chemicals that'll be going in, and it's those concrete bases that's going to be there forever. That, the wind farms might be there forever, they might not. Most of them only last less than 25 years. There's one, another one, Craignagarapple, and it's lasted less than 25 years, and they're looking to put new bases in different places. So they don't want to use the first bases because they're probably not large enough, because the turbines get bigger and bigger, each generations of turbines. So, they are massive. They're nothing like what's already out there now, what's planned for here. It's going to be the biggest in Ireland. So, there's the danger of landslides. There's the special area of conservation, the highest designation we can have on the Foyle system, and that the Foyle and the tributaries of the Foyle, so the Fahan, all of that, the Oakaloo, they have the highest designations, and these trips and the sediment that will be going in. When this peat's displaced, it goes straight into the rivers. It'll start drying out. And if you have landslides, the consequences for so much wildlife, and people think that wind farms are environmental. They are not. It's greenwashing. I'd say there is a place for wind farms in some places, but they're not for the high Sperrins, which, has got massive. It's been an area of outstanding natural beauty since the 50s. It was the first one designated in Northern Ireland, yet we're only getting a management plan now for it. We've always been the poor cousins of any, wild areas competing against the Mourns or other places. And we've been left to get on with our own devices. And we've survived, and almost that's been good because it's left our wild landscape. But now, and politicians have told us, are earmarked for industrialisation. The Sperrins has been earmarked for industrialisation, and the money's all going to go to Stormont, and they'll be laughing, and all multinationals. And local people will not benefit. A few individual landowners will. But, yes, to be honest, on an environmental background, I never thought I would be campaigning maybe against wind farms, but you do get your eyes opened, and we always
say net zero. I think it's just it's just
I mean, definitely climate change is a massive problem, and renewables are needed, but there's no joined up thinking in this. There's no strategic plan. It's the same with data centres getting passed in Derry. They're getting passed by local councils. These are things that are going to have a massive environmental impact to Northern Ireland and to the net zero target. But Stormont doesn't seem to want to take any responsibility for putting a strategy in. It shouldn't be local. Why are local councils voting in data centres? At least, it's as if they didn't matter, as if they had no impact. And they just see all of this, and people in the Sperrins feel like this is coming. And if we also, if it happens here, it'll happen right across the Salmon and Dart, and those iconic landscapes. And I was driving in from Claudia, and I could see the whole ridge from our mountain, from the moat, Mullacabra, the four Mullocks, which people love walking across, right across to Salmon and Dart. And I thought, wouldn't it be really sad for the last generation who can look at that?
And as you quite rightly point out, those concrete pads on which they're situated, they changed the pH, the bog and was. So it moved from acidic to alkaline, and it will now no longer be an bog. It becomes something else. I don't know what it becomes, but it won't be that,
When you were asking about what does progress mean, progress to me is that politicians, people and communities recognising the ecosystem services that these uplands provide, and which they've always provided, with flood control, when which is going to be more of an issue as climate change projects progresses. You need your peatlands in there to act as a sponge when there is massive rainfall.
Yeah.
And obviously the peatland itself is a carbon sink. So it holds more carbon, 30 times more carbon than forest of the same size.
Yeah.
So
it's a bigger carbon sink than the Amazon.
Yes. So to dig that out, to put in these metal structures,
and then
that is supposed to be giving us great energy, but it's there's no. Why isn't there more carbon calculations been done on that?
Yeah,
it's because there's so much subsidies, and because fat cats are lining their pockets, these multinational companies, and plus the politicians are getting to tick that they're going to net zero. But if we actually did the carbon calculations properly, I doubt that that they would have solved to it's
so
do these calculations on paper,
The environment, their environmental impacts assessments don't have the full study of the consequences down the line.
No.
And how can the public then come to any sort of a decision, the people who are affected, unless that's included, and they're not included.
And even in this one is on the wildlife, on the bird life, the bird study that was done there. It was pretty good bird survey. And, I know there's ecologists who work in this, and, I know they'll be doing it. But at the same time, there's species that hasn't even been considered. They do collision risks modelling for the turbines.
Yeah.
Merlin.
Yeah.
We see Merlin here all the time.
Yeah.
And they're such a priority species.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've seen today.
The zebra swans went over the rift.
Yeah.
I was watching them going over our own place as well. Yeah.
But I know RSPB put in a letter there in response to this, and they mentioned snipe and they mentioned Cooper swans. Very short letter, asking for more information. That I'm very disappointed that organisations like RSPB have not, have they looked? I volunteer as a bird surveyor for BTO, British Trust Ornithology. We put our data in. What's the point? What's the point of doing that anymore?
Yeah.
If when it comes down to, planning, organisations like RSPB cannot put in a more detailed and a more stronger response to this. I think RSPB, they're very pro wind farms, and but they do come out against them when it's affecting certain species. But I don't think they've even looked. Have they looked at BTO data recently for around here? Because there's a big gap in the Sperrins for bird surveys.
That's
but
right.
There is, but we have been.
That's why we're never surveyed properly. The Sperrins at the start when other places were, so to allow this. So if you've if you haven't got it mapped, how can you say it's because of wind farming or it's because of gold mining? And this plan is, as we've all discovered, has been a long time, been set in place long before we were aware of it, and it's very frustrating, but that's where we get to go to work in the world. This is the arena that we show up in, and isn't it great that we're here and we can do it? Look at it as that,
Yes.
And then, of course, the big greenwashing, I agree with you absolutely, and of course that goes over into the mining, where they now talk about critical minerals needed for the new Green Deal and the new and it's a load of nonsense as well, and particularly down in Greencastle, where the gold mine is the start of the gold mine is proposed. It's been built on a bog called Sheshkin-Shul, and Sheshkin-Shul means moving bog. What?
No.
Oh dear me, just
it seems like common sense is out the window. And it's all
well, it's about greed, isn't it? It's about those companies, those corporations coming in, and at the same time it's colonialism. It's extracting, and it's leaving the debt with the community here. So it's your problem now. We get our money, we put them, we get our money paid back, and now the debt is yours, and the debt can be whatever, landslides, it can be the ruination of the loss of wildlife, and so on, so on. And so then our children and our grandchildren inherit a landscape that's substantially different from what we're looking at now and what our grandparents would have looked at in the past. So progress? I don't think so.
No. But maybe on a positive note, we have done things on our farm. Sometimes you can just do what you can do.
Yeah, that's it. And the arena
And
that you
even
go to
though-
work in.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the hedgerows.
We planted hedgerows and we take groups out around the mountain, around our bog there for walks, and you can do.
We will want to do more on the peatland, damming it and getting it wetter.
Yeah.
Certain areas.
Yeah.
And we have talked to Wildlife Trust about that. So once this environmental farming scheme ends that we're on, you can't reapply. I think, we will definitely look at doing work on the peatland, and we did put in a bit of woodland, but perhaps more woodland as well.
Sure, yeah.
The glen.
Well, all in its own good thing. You know, you do what you can do.
Yes.
And funny as I drove into the yard there, I think I heard loads of hedge sparrows just as I stepped out of the car. And that's unusual. Are they hedge sparrows or trees?
No, they're house sparrows.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We did see. I did have a tree sparrows visit here once. I get it recorded. Yeah, very excited.
Good. Very good.
We're very excited, but we haven't seen them since. Well, our house sparrows. I mean, hard to believe around here because we have about 50.
Yeah. But they're not so common anymore.
They're priority species.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were picking up holy racket out there when I came in, which is great.
It's probably full of feeders today. They probably have it all out around.
Oh, yeah.
I actually seen a sparrowhawk earlier on the day eating one.
Yeah. Well,
they were flying along.
Well, they have to survive too, don't they?
The social farmers was with you, weren't they?
Yeah, they seen it.
Yeah.
We think a buzzard took one of our hens recently. We think, we're not sure, but we think it was because it just disappeared so suddenly without it trace of any feathers out. And if there's a fox, the fox gets his share, but we can normally say, I know it was a fox, it just disappeared. It's just, yeah, they're nesting not so far away from us. Okay, so looking at social farming again, so it invites people who might feel excluded, as you said earlier, and back into community through nature, which is what we've been talking about, What have you learned about inclusion and care through this work?
I suppose that makes you, anybody that comes here, they're all treated as equals. So I wouldn't be thinking I'm any better than them. We're trying to make it a level playing field for everybody.
Yeah.
Any jobs that has to be done, I wouldn't have any favourites or anything. Just
whoever.
Everybody gets a go.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's obviously some people that maybe don't like working with sheep as much and they go to the garden or the other way around. But when it comes to, I sort of take care of the sheep work now, and anybody that wants to have a go with it, and I try to share the load out with everybody.
Yeah.
And everybody does like doing their bit.
And do you think, where they might have experienced exclusion in the past, that feeling leaves them when they come here, or?
Yes, I think they do live. I mean, they'll come here and they talk, say, what are we doing? It's our farm. When we talk about future plans, we're trying to talk Fanny into donkeys. And, they're talking about their farm, so they definitely, they feel rooted here.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, when we first, you go to a lot of training courses when you first start social farming, and there, which is great. You get that support and talking about disabilities and what to expect and all. And, and you're going maybe with your glasses, I call it like disability glasses on, but you lose them very quickly when you and they're just individuals.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, people would say like, oh, it's just great having them up and all, but it's like, it's not them to us. They're just individuals who come here to work with us, and we support them and they support us, you know, even just by being here. And it's very person-centered. We try to be very person-centered, and, you know, they are all obviously individuals and can be very different from each other, but have the same disability, or, you know, as people would label them, but they can be very different, and that's the way we take people as we see them.
Okay.
And I think that's the best way to do it.
I think the farmers themselves, there's a lot of chat, you know, any farmer about mental health these days, and, you know, maybe not seeing people from one end of the week to the next.
Yeah.
So I think they bring people onto your farm. You know, it's good for my mental health too, to be talking to people.
Yeah.
You know, because maybe unless a market or something, you might go from one start of the week to the end and see nobody.
Yeah.
It's good to
it's so
somebody to chat to.
It's sort of an aspect that perhaps you hadn't seen when you started.
Definitely.
There's like farmers in trouble precisely because they don't see anyone.
Yeah.
Maybe just spend the day driving a truck or what have you, you know. And actually that brings us into kind of the wider community. Locally, I imagine you're connected to your neighbours and other farmers and things like that. So how what's that like? What do they think of what you're doing here? Initially and now, and you're smiling a little bit.
Yes, well, we are obviously. It's well, we would bring schools and community groups here as well.
Yeah.
So we do have a Heritage Lottery Fund program, and so like the local Plum Club, local Persons Club, come once a year as well. And Glenelly House would send some groups here. It could be youth groups, and the local school. Then and actually we volunteer, and we bring some of the stuff farmers in, and we run the gardening club in the primary school. Right. You know, to teach the kids where their food comes from. And, so I think that's, and to go into the mart and things. But yeah, I'd say some people thought, what are they up to now?
Far out.
But we do have another social farm beside us too, Brad Keel, who does brilliant work as well.
Yeah.
And Mabel. So we kind of both started out in the journey together.
Yeah.
Just by total, you know, chance. I think it's because of this landscape and it's been so beautiful. Like Mabel saw the potential. Yeah. Oh. So Mabel saw she's right beside us.
Yeah.
So Mabel saw the potential of it, well, at the same time as we did. So yes, we've got good neighbours, and everybody's always positive about it.
Yeah.
I suppose because of the BBC Chronicles of the Sperrins, more people know now about it, but when you go to a wake. And people are always very nice and say,
yeah, absolutely program. It is a lovely program.
You know, it is
a nice record. So what's it feel like to hold onto land that's been farmed for generations up here, and yet then turn around and reimagining what the place is about, what the farm is about? Did that take much of a head shift?
Well, I suppose you're always trying to make your farm better for the next generation coming along, don't you? I don't know what our boys is going to do today, if they're interested enough in farming or not. I suppose when we're doing social farming, a lot of the things that you might be doing with your children on the farm, you have to keep for the social farmers as well. So maybe they're not getting the hands-on as much as you would like them to be.
Yeah.
But they're very good at helping us on the farm, our boys. So it's just the social farming, but another part onto the farm, and hopefully we'll be able to hand it on to them when they can do another spin on it. It's
yeah. I mean, I think we don't want to. We have changed. We probably have reversed the changes. Because remember, there was all the old policy way back of pulling out hedgerows and things like that.
Yeah.
And then that was, and we when we came to the farm, it was smaller than it is now. We actually bought an adjacent farm that was up for sale.
Right.
And it had a massive field in it, and that's what we cut up with, split with hedgerows, so good native hedgerows.
Yeah.
So kind of we're trying to bring it back almost into what it was, and by restoring the peatland. So reversing the agricultural improvements, maybe, though still obviously when you need your good fields as well. But really, every pharmacist is the same. You're only a custodian of it. Funny, I had a historian here. We had a group on Saturday, and we were talking about the land, and we were talking about when there was clochans, and you can still see the remnants of the clochans and the stone walls and all.
Just explain for our listeners what a clochan is.
The clochans was the way they would have lived then and farmed. So it was kind of a precursor to a village. So so the houses would have been all together.
Mm-hmm.
And they might have been related, and they might not necessarily. And they would have shared. Everybody would have had a bit of the good land, and everybody would have had a bit of the bad land. But they would have worked very communally together.
Yeah.
And there was kind of less of an ownership of land then.
Yeah.
And they saw land kind of a bit like water, like a resource.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just yours here. You're getting the most out of it, improving it. And then leaving it for, because we're just here for such a short time. Yeah. And you wonder what's going to happen to it after you're gone, and even generations down. But you don't have control over it. You know? You think you have control, but you don't.
Yeah.
Nobody has. So I just see, I feel we're trying to reverse. But up in Upland, there was far less industrialisation of it until now. And I suppose trying to stop that happening at least it will not happen when we're left to wear.
On your watch.
On our land.
I think progress in lowland farms is where you can get as many animals as you can onto a farm. And there was cattle and sheds the whole year round, and they wouldn't see the light of day. Hen houses, that is overproduction on a major scale.
Yeah.
And it can't be good for the environment.
Yeah.
So I think we definitely don't want to go down that road where that worst.
And it's not appropriate up here in this landscape. That sort of farming.
Yeah.
So, we're lucky we found social farming. We're always going to do something, along the idea of utilising the landscape and not changing the landscape, but utilising it for the health benefits.
Yeah.
The well-being and for the enjoyment of being out in nature and learning about nature. And, it's been our ethos our whole lives. So why would we change now? So I'm just trying to pass that on to as many people.
So that would be at the core of what you do, sort of health and well-being, as opposed to trying to extract as much out of the land and the place, and being stewards of the land going forward for future generations.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm sure there's always more we could do. Being sheep farmers, we do need the grazing as well, but we're definitely not overstocked, and we're on the environmental farming scheme.
Yeah.
And we definitely want to protect what peatlands we have. When we got here, we all used to cut turf when we were growing up in our families, but we use the sticks now.
Yeah.
And we've always, advocated for peatland protection 20 years ago, not just now on a one farmer's land.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're saying anything new now that we're going to be affected.
It's just part of who you be, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So passing the mic now, who else would you love to hear speaking on this podcast about the future of the Sperrins?
Probably some of the ministers would be a good start, wouldn't it?
To get answers to questions. Farming policy is a big thing. And a lot has been promised to farmers, because this is a, less favoured area, it was called once, and there was subsidies for that area of natural constraints, and that was all taken away, and it makes it tougher. And that's probably as well why farmers are selling out to
bigger farms.
To one farm's things, because they have been left to their own devices.
Yeah.
They have promises have been made and not been kept.
Right.
So by, first ministers and certain parties.
I'll tell you, I try and avoid politicians.
I can understand that too.
Yeah, right enough. I had Emmett on, but it was because he was elected on the single issue for the gold mine. Yeah. But by and large, I don't want to give any politicians.
I have enough platforms.
That's right.
And I'll answer the question.
Yeah.
But even the farmers that maybe aren't the same as us, right? Maybe who would be. Don't be harder, but
I would have no problem speaking to someone. If you could get someone that would speak to me. If you think, I can get him to speak, get back in touch with me, and I'll follow it up for you. Yeah.
But also the Wildlife Trust, I'm talking about their peatland plans.
Yeah, good point.
Because they are doing a lot on the Sperrins. I'm fair to play to them because, other environmental organisations don't work over here as much.
Yeah.
And they have bits on the ground.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we're busy over our way as well.
Yeah.
Finding hope. So, sitting here with you, Butterlope Farm. By the way, how did it get the name? Butterlope Farm.
Well, that's the name of the road.
It's the name of the road.
It's the name of the road as you're coming off from Park. So, because that's the name of the road we would always come, because we would always be coming from the Park of Highbrack side. Now, if you're coming up from Plum, you're coming down Donnelly and you're up Bradkill.
Yeah.
So the actual house is sitting on Bradkill Road, but the farm cuts across the Butterlope Road. It's on both sides of the Butterlope Road.
Right.
So it's the name of the farm, really. But that's the name we give them. We give our farm, but it's the name of this road. Yeah. This road in front of you, the loop on the other side is Butterlope Road, and that runs right down through Butterlope Glen, which is an ASSI.
Right.
And it's beautiful drive. I don't know if you ever went down there.
I've been there.
It's lovely.
Recently. Yeah.
Down onto the Snarl Road. So we were going to call it Glengall, which is the townland.
Yeah.
But then everybody from Park would say to us, you're up the Butterlope.
Yeah.
Even though our address is Bradkill.
Yeah.
So we kind of thought, no, let's go with it.
Go Butterlope.
Catchy name.
Yeah, it is. It works. So, getting back to my question, what sustains you? What gives you hope for this land and this community and the future of farming in the Sperrins?
That's, obviously we've got a lot of fears. We've talked about them, but I think young people give you hope too. Young people do get out, and our boys do love, the landscape. And they would go out and walk on it. And I don't know if any of them will farm. I don't think they will know until they get older and maybe partners.
Yeah.
They might be working on something else. The minute one's heading off into doing chemistry, and they're talking more about uni and jobs from that. But you just don't know what's down the line for them. This is not what I would expect to have been doing when I was their age, So I don't think, but I think something always turns up. The Sperrins, I know there's a new management plan, and maybe the profile is getting raised about how important the Sperrins is, and really what a gem we have. We have here. We had a group in there on Saturday. They're like a young farmers reunion,
right?
So but there was people from Australia and America and England, Scotland, Wales. And, all they do is talk about the beauty of the Sperrins.
Yeah.
And I think people don't realise what we have. We're starting to. But, programs like the Chronicles and yourselves, all the work you do, it really helps to show. And that's why we like to do the schools and community groups to, and still in the school children, you're from the Sperrins.
Yeah.
Get that kind of.
Yeah. Vinny, What gets you out of bed in the morning? What gets you out of bed?
Other than sheep prices.
It's definitely not a bad office day to work on. It's a nice setting, and that's a good setting, and it's when you know you're going to make people happy, and it's
Annie, Vinny, thanks a million for allowing me to be with you today on your beautiful farm. And what gives me hope is people like yourselves, as it inspires me that you're up to stuff, real stuff, and you're changing minds and hearts. And that's such a gift. And your stewardship of this part of the world is so important. So thank you.
Thank you, Noelle, and all the work you and the rest of your team do.
thank you very much.
As we finish our chat with Annie and Vincent, I come away knowing life on Butterlope Farm is rich with life and humour, their days marked by the changing seasons. It's in the moments when the unexpected happens, when you come home from the mart having nearly bought a calf thanks to a child's unintentional playful bidding. It's in the heartbreak when land beside you is sold to make way for a wind farm, going against everything you hold dear. It's in the quiet pride of tending ground where ancient clochans still stand, whispering the memory of those who came before. Here, everyone is treated as equal. The measure of worth isn't the quick pound, but the long-term well-being of land, animals and people. In their world, upland bog is more precious than gold, because it holds not just water and wildlife, but the spirit of the place itself. Butterlope reminds us that there is another way, one where care, humility and genuine sustainability still guide what it means to live well in the Sperrins. You've been listening to the Save Our Sperrins podcast, Voices from the Frontline. Thank you for joining us today. All the links you'll need, from campaign updates to our social media pages, as well as links shared by today's guests and resources mentioned in the conversation, are available in the show notes. Please take a moment to share this podcast with friends, neighbours, or anyone who cares about protecting our land and communities. And don't forget to hit the follow button on your podcast platform. It really helps the algorithm spread these voices further. Together, our voices are stronger. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep standing with the land, the water, the air, and the people who protect them.